back with another episode of the Patriots podcast. I'm Sean here with Ryan and JJ.
Hello.
Gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. Please remember to like and subscribe, rate, review, comment. All the action is great. We really appreciate you guys supporting the podcast here. We are tuning in between weeks 3 and 4, and the Patriots finally have a non-zero number in the win column, eking out a victory against the dreadful New York Jets.
1-2.
Ryan, as you're coming out of this game, this yucky weather, yucky game, what are your emotions like coming out, getting that win?
I was in a bad mood, to be honest with you. I mean, for it to come down to the wire like that against a team that I think, arguably the worst quarterback in the league at this point, guy that just waits for pressure, creates his own pressure on himself. His timing is awful. Zach Wilson, literally, that's his biggest problem is timing and just being on time with the throws, holding on to it too long.
He's also scared shit. That's another bad quality.
Yeah, and to almost lose to that team on the Hail Mary there at the end of the game. We'll talk about the whole game, but it's always good to get a divisional win. Yeah, the Jets, that's a game we should be winning, but and you're on the board with a win here, but it's got to be better because you're not going to beat a lot of teams if you play like that. Defensively, not bad for most of the game, except for that one long drive for the Jets. Offensively, we kept Mac upright for most of the game. Kind of same old story where we're moving the ball a little bit, drive stalls. Running game's not really getting going until late in the game with Ezekiel Elliott. Ramondre's something not quite right there.
Mm-hmm.
There was some positives. I felt like we abandoned the tight ends fairly early on. Had a great catch to Pharaoh Brown, of all people, up the seam.
Who had money on that?
By a mile.
Anytime touchdown for Pharaoh Brown.
I don't even think he was on the
to be honest with you, like, lackluster performance. We'll take the W, but I don't want to see that. I don't want it. I'm done comparing this to last year. I don't want to talk about, this is better than last year. I'm past that. We're past that.
Yeah.
It's got to be better than last year. It's got to be way better than last year. That's not even saying anything. That's not an accomplishment.
Yeah, they got to be comparing it to last week and trying to build that way instead of continuing to point backwards to Matt Patricia and what happened there. James, what were your takeaways?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was just happy to get the win. I think the Patriots probably felt the same way. Personally, I thought the weather was really shitty. It looked pretty shitty out there. It was wet. It was slippery. It was windy at times. And because it wasn't consistent throughout the game, it was kind of coming and going. People really aren't crediting the weather as being a bigger factor. Because of the way it was, I think the Patriots, when they were up, they were like, we're just going to get the hell out of here, and we don't want to turn the ball over. That's kind of seemed what they were doing the whole game. When they got up 13-3. That was before the safety by Judon, which was a great play. And it was just like, okay, we've got the lead. We're going into the fourth quarter. Our offenses kind of, they did look pretty good in the first half. Second half, not so much. They were just trying to kill clock, get out of there without making a big game-changing mistake, and get a win on the board because they knew if they didn't get that win, it was going to be super problematic. Now, as kind of Ryan was alluding to, because they went so far in the way of kind of playing not to lose, they almost did lose. I mean, it kind of came down there to the wire there a little bit. I didn't really think they had any chance at that Hail Mary. I know people say it was close. He got his hand near it. You never see that play happen.
Didn't it just happen?
Randall Cobb
at the Broncos game like last week.
Oh, yeah, it did just happen.
Yeah, it's rare. It's rare, but it
can happen. But it's low percentage. I mean, I didn't think Zach Wilson could do it. He had a good arm in the play. But overall, I think the team's building a little bit. I think the couple positives is the offensive line is slowly coming together. Trent Brown had a really good game. Seeing him back out there, maybe that bump in money gave him a little more motivation to play well. He played well. Andrews is really playing well. Owenu seems to be getting a little better. we talked about the Vidarian Lowe moving to right tackle. He looked good there, or better than Calvin Anderson.
Better than Anderson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still have an issue at left guard. What's his name? Cole Strange is looking more and more every game like he was way overdrafted, kind of like everyone thought. Even though he looks bigger and pretty athletic, he still has mistakes, and it's almost like mental mistakes and leverage mistakes, which I feel should be coached out of him and can be. Maybe he just hasn't had enough time. And then Antonio Mafi went in there, and Mafi's seemingly decent. It was tough to Mac. I think Mac's playing well. I think there was a couple missed opportunities there. Once again, I think the weather really affected things. The wind was pretty bad at certain times, depending on just when you got the ball. You could see it whipping there on the field. I don't know what's going on with Ramondre Stevenson. It's like I keep thinking he needs more carries, and then you look at how many carries he has this year, and he's up there towards the tops in the league, but he's got one of the worst averages. So I don't know if he had a sickness a couple weeks ago. Maybe he lost some weight. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's not hitting the holes. Maybe the holes aren't there for him. They started to open up for Zeke in the second half, which was nice to see. It was probably Zeke's best game by far that we've seen. And then just, the biggest thing for me in offense was the third down play calling. I didn't understand the third and short deep ball. We did it probably 3 times where we got near or around the 50, and it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6. And instead of doing, the little Demario Douglas move the sticks play, or the Devontae Parker move the sticks, or Kendrick, Hunter Henry move the sticks, we have Mac dropping back and absolutely launching it down the sideline, which hasn't worked once this year. And then we're doing it on, big third down situations. You want to do that on second and short, obviously that's the big thing. So that I don't like to see, but I also did like to see, the Pharaoh Brown play. That was a schemed up play. That was Billy O'Brien scheming for a few weeks, putting 3 tight ends on the field, running out of it every single time, and then boom, you get this guy wide open down the field because no one's covering, because everyone goes, it's a run. So that's something we didn't have all year last year. We haven't had that in a while, so that was nice to see.
It's good to see some production out of a third tight end.
Production out of a third tight end. He was our leading receiver.
Yeah, we haven't even carried a third tight end
definitely
in a long time.
No.
Yeah.
Right. And so I definitely have some negatives about the game too, but I'll let you talk a little bit more about it.
I just want to comment the third drive. You mentioned some bad play calling. We had 11-yard run, 5-yard run.
You were moving it. That's the problem.
It was the same drive where they hit Ramondre in the helmet, and then Kendrick Bourne got a 17 yard catch over the middle. Great fight after the catch. I wrote down ball looks hard to catch. So I believe it's second and 6. Cole Strange commits a holding call, so it's 2nd and 16. We run a draw, -2. We're on the Jets 30. So, you know what I mean? Like -2 yards. I hated that call. I hate the 2nd and long, 3rd and long draw. I'll never be a fan of it. But the very next play was the 3rd and 16 disguise screen, reverse screen to the opposite side. Should have been a pick 6. Mac didn't even see.
They love to call those screens
ball,
are terrible.
Honestly.
The fake right, screen left. They worked like 12 years ago.
It's not.
Yeah.
No
Those 2 plays in a row. And then Ryland missed a field goal. Ryland has a great leg. I noticed when he kicks the ball, there's a little.
He's got a hook on it.
Slight hook to it. Like, yeah, it's very
I thought he was
like
playing the.
He's
wing.
had it, but I saw it in week 3. Week 2 also. His field goal kick there. He does have a slight. He's got a big leg.
He can boot it.
Yeah, there was that one he had terrible, but it was a high snap too. I don't know how much I equate to him missing it versus the bad snapping.
57 and 48
yards
were the 2 misses.
I didn't expect,
but a horrible, snap
on both.
Bad hold. Absolutely shanked it like the worst looking kick you've ever seen.
That was the 57.
But
I mean, you don't expect anyone to make a 57.
Not in that weather.
Like I don't really.
That would have been one of the most incredible kicks I've ever seen. That would have been like ridiculous.
The only reason they even tried that kick was because it was right at the end of the half.
Yeah, it's 14 seconds left or something like that. Clear. But the play before that, clear defensive pass interference on Demario Douglas down the left sideline.
Terrible.
I can't remember who the corner
Really
was.
bad.
Oh my God. Have you guy was all right, so Demario Douglas is jumping backwards, kind of like a backstroke if you're swimming, reaching for the ball.
This dude just basically tackled.
Ball's underthrown, but the DB is laying on top of him.
Yeah.
Literally like tackling him. Hands all over him, body all over him. No call. Like
No call.
that to me was the most blatant, egregious. I don't know what the hell is going. I don't know if that ref is from Jersey or
Nothing to see
what,
here.
Dude, the
but
refs
it's
all the
bad.
refs all game. I there was a few calls they got the Patriots for that were pretty ticky tack. A couple holding calls, and then they didn't call any. There was holding on Barmore or and also Keon White several times. They just didn't call it. It's like, okay, that's interesting, but what are you going to do? The Demario Douglas play. There was a couple on Mac. They do not call personal interference on Mac roughing the quarterback. He does not get those calls, man.
There might be a
I know
reason.
There was the one
there
with
might be a reason for that.
the little fight thing, but
We need to go in depth on that one.
we'll go in that in a sec. But there were even another one. There was another one. He got his clock cleaned, and I think there was one he dove at his legs, and then another one he got his clock cleaned, and they didn't call either of them. And it's like, well, any other quarterback would probably get the one at the knees, but you didn't call it. So that was interesting. I really want to see more Demario Douglas on the field. I don't like that he's not playing a lot, especially I don't know what's going on with Juju Smith-Schuster. They, another thing with play calling, those two outside the numbers calls to him on third downs. And it wasn't even close. It's not like the ball was slightly off thrown. It's like he tripped out of his route twice, and we went to it twice. I don't know if they're trying to get the kid confidence or something. He looks way out of sorts. And I don't know if you guys, I know you guys heard the comment a couple weeks ago when Mac, after maybe it was the last week, where he said, oh, we really all need to get in there. It can't just be a couple of us guys getting in there and practicing after late. It needs to be all of us.
Oh.
Right? Mm-hmm. So then Juju came out the next day or two later and goes, well, I think, he goes, I think we're putting in a lot of work. I see it every day. I see everyone doing work all the time. And it was like, well, that's an interesting one. Your quarterback's saying you need to do more work, and you're the receiver here sitting saying, I think we're doing plenty. So that was weird. And then you just see him on the field, and he, everyone's saying his movement, his knee, he's hurt, this, that, and the other thing. He doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know the plays. And it's pretty obvious.
There's communication city out there with him.
He doesn't know what he's doing. And it's like, that's more the problem than his knee. So,
yeah.
Gesicki, I didn't see Gesicki in there. He was in there.
He was in there in the first quarter. Him and Henry were all over the place in the first quarter.
That was it. And it's like,
and that was it.
Where are those tight end seams? Where, we're not in the play action. More play action. That was the Pharaoh Brown play.
Yeah.
We need more damn play action.
We're never under center.
Yeah, Mac's good under center. And the run game is assisted by being under center. Running out of shotgun's just hard for everybody.
Right.
Ramondre is significantly better under center. I think Mac Jones is too. And I want to see more of it. I don't know why we're not playing to these two guys' strength. They're legitimately our best play. Maybe not our best players in Mac's case, but you want Mac to be comfortable.
Right.
I know Mac does play well at a shotgun as well, but Bill O'Brien's a big shotgun guy.
And then
we're going to talk about this.
They put fourth and one,
right?
They put Pharaoh Brown at fullback. I think is that him?
That's a tall fullback.
Brown.
I don't know. I don't think I saw that.
They had a fullback on the field for a couple plays later in the game, and I'm pretty sure it was Pharaoh Brown. It's tough because it's like you don't recognize his number, but I'm pretty sure it was him. And I liked seeing the fullback back in there, which was pretty nice. And it's like, you're talking about the run. The play action sets up the run so much, and we finally did, and we're successful. And it's like, we need to see more of that because that'll set up the run.
Yeah, and the other thing we need to do is have our quarterback not be a highlight on Twitter for nut tapping people on the other team. And also so that the refs don't hate him so much.
I didn't.
It looked like it may or may not have happened.
He clearly.
You think
he absolutely did something.
He did something.
No way.
I also think it's a little over the top for Sauce Gardner to say he was trying to make it so I can't have kids. Like, Everybody's gotten
Yeah.
nut tapped
Yeah, well,
plenty of times. It's not that big a deal.
He put it out there so he wouldn't get fined.
He
for
got
giving
shoved.
him
He got
shove after.
thrown around before, then didn't get helped up, then does the nut tap, and then gets thrown down again. He got ragdolled.
Yeah.
So that play, I was screaming on that play because first of all I didn't see the nut tap, but the nut tap came well after C.J. Mosley is
Threw him around.
absolutely fucking UFCing our quarterback to the ground, and Antonio Mafia and
Parker.
Devontae Parker are just standing there watching, and the other offensive linemen are face down on the ground, so they didn't see it. But the two guys that saw it, like, it's your quarterback. That, to me, I'm not a fan of that whatsoever. But after the fact, you got manhandled like that. I could see you being pissed off, and their sauces give him a little jab to the nuts, and
Yeah.
See what's what.
I mean, he's got to cut it out.
But-
Whatever's going on, he's got to cut it out. He can't do that shit anymore. He's getting a reputation. He's getting
It's
killed
also
out there.
terrible. It makes me not like him as much. It's like I got to
Right.
like
Yeah,
deal with people who
definitely.
are saying you're a dirty player and you've got plenty of actions out there on tape.
He's a
He
brat.
just-
He comes
does.
off like
he's
a
got
little
a
brat,
child actor's
you know,
face.
like-
That doesn't help.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of him as a person. Like, I want him to succeed. I want him to do well, but like, do I like him? I can't do the and stuff. Oh, we
Yeah.
were driving and stuff. Like, I don't know, man. You're a professional now. Like, you got to act like a big boy. All right, so you guys watch the series Quarterback on Netflix at all?
No. I haven't checked it out yet.
There's one episode where, and Bedard brought this up. Greg
I
Bedard.
heard about this. Mahomes.
Yeah, he's talking about how, Mahomes talks to defensive linemen. Good play, good job, man, good job. Just so maybe the next time
Manning did
they
that
tackle
too.
him or sack him,
Peyton.
they won't fucking kill him or give him a
Andrew
little
Luck
extra,
used to-
Right.
Remember
Mac
Andrew
Jones
Luck?
has gone-
He'd get up.
He was.
He'd get up and he'd
huge,
just go,
yeah.
"Good hit. That was a nice one." He'd like tap him on the helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He'd
just,
be like, "Well done."
just got abused.
I mean,
Kirk Cousins just lays on the
you know,
ground
if-
and rolls around.
if Mac feels like he needs to do something, like say anything you want, you can basically say whatever the hell.
Yeah,
you
there's
want
no
on the
proof.
field. So yell at the people.
Brady used to say nothing.
Brady
He
would,
would,
you know,
Brady
scream
would
at
say some
people.
shit. What do you mean?
Oh
No,
yeah,
Brady would scream at the officials.
He would scream at dudes.
But
too.
I don't remember him like talking to
Yeah, he
defenders that
talked
much.
some
he got in a
shit.
couple
He definitely
spats,
talks some
especially like
He
after
definitely talks
touchdown
shit.
throws. He's running down the field. He gets in those spats.
Yeah, but he wasn't a third year quarterback when he was doing
Right.
that had done nothing. He was a Super Bowl champion by that
Six
time.
times over.
You know?
No, I mean Mac's got to. I don't know what his deal is. He's got to chill out with that stuff because you're right, Sean. The other issue is he's just
Yeah,
not going to get the calls.
I mean,
the refs aren't going to like him.
That's
And that's kind of I'm seeing that. Like there's been a few calls this year where it's like, ooh, like Tom Brady would have got that 10 times out of 10. Now that's Tom Brady. Don't get me wrong. They've done this to rookie guys. You know, they're like, oh, you're not getting that call. Fine, but it's starting to get to the point where it's like I don't think he's gotten any call on.
yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah.
roughing the passer, and that's a big one. And you got to
Mhm.
protect yourself. And right off the bat, you're not
Yeah,
protecting
just
yourself. with
just
that.
grow up. That's all.
Yeah.
Just do a quick grow up sesh.
the thing. Like I'm getting real tired of the penalties on the offensive line. The false starts, the holding.
Dude, that one drive, right?
It was like 2 in a row. You know, I think it was Trent Brown with a false start, and then someone had a hold like
Onwenu.
the very next play.
Either
It might have
Wenu
been-
or Strange. had
was
a
it
hold.
Onwenu? It was Onwenu. Onwenu is not playing well. I don't know what's going on. Trent Brown, other than the false start in this game, I think it's the best game he's had in like 3
It's
years.
been a
He
while.
played so
He
good.
played well.
He did really well. So I'm encouraged by that, but the whole thing needs to gel, man. And I don't know when it's coming, if it's coming at all.
Yeah.
Verdarian Lowe to me looks better than
Hands down.
Calvin Anderson. And I saw CBS had Calvin Anderson starting on their little thing that comes up with all the starters, and I'm immediately Verdarian Lowe's in there. I'm like,
Mhm.
He played every
You got
snap.
that
Vidarian
wrong, but-
Lowe did.
Yeah. Anderson.
if he
didn't
can play like that against John Franklin Myers, then he can play like that against a bunch of good players.
Right.
So I don't think he was particularly like really good or anything like
but
that,
he
but he was.
solid.
I didn't notice him as much as I normally do, and I don't think Mac Jones got sacked
He
in this game.
did not. He got
He
got
did
hit
not
5
get sacked.
times. Zach Wilson got hit 7 times.
Yeah. he had time. Like even on the deep balls,
Yeah.
he had time to throw it. You know, he just didn't hit them. Whatever, it was raining, whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah.
and I mean, this is a really good defensive front. You know, it's like I hear all week how great the Jets defense is, and then we win, and all I heard Monday on any media at all was, well, the Jets defense sucks. And it's like, well, the Jets defense doesn't suck.
No, they don't. Yeah.
Just because they didn't play good against us, you can't say, well, now they suck. No, they're very, very, they beat Buffalo. Zach Wilson, people were saying that last week. Well, Zach Wilson beat Buffalo. Yes, he did. And we just made him look like the worst quarterback of all time. So, you can't have it both ways. I think the Patriots won. I think it was a tough fought game because it was low scoring in the rain. People say, it's sloppy, this, that, and the other thing. But, I think they're building. I think their offense, I'm very curious to see what they look like this week in a dome.
Against that pass rush.
Finally.
The second half.
Yeah.
The second half, we did nothing on offense.
I don't think.
To be honest
we
with you,
didn't. We had that penalty
we did nothing.
drive.
We had six or seven straight punts, like punt. We had a field goal, I think, to start the third quarter,
and then that was it.
And then after that, it was -8 yards, 12 yards, 32, 25.
I mean, thank God we got the safety, so we were up more than a field goal.
If we didn't get the safety, I honestly think like we're going to overtime.
Yeah.
Like the way the Jets were moving the ball at that point, they looked hot. They were getting hot. I mean, our defense isn't the same as it should be with some of the guys we have out.
We had no corners.
Equali went down. Godshaw went down.
3 cornerbacks.
Playing without 3 corners. There's only so many safeties you can fucking throw at the thing.
Yeah.
Like.
Speaking of which, I thought Peppers had another great.
He's so good this year.
He was all over the damn field.
He was fantastic.
He's been all over the field. He was like their jack of all trades when they needed it. We also put out like 7 guys to catch punts. I didn't really understand any of that decision making. What's
he got in the season?
Peppers caught a punt. Duggar caught a punt. Demario Douglas caught a punt, and I'm sure I'm missing a few guys there. So I didn't really understand that, especially in a rain game.
Yeah, they were back and forth. So
very weird.
I wrote it down, actually. I sent you a text early in the game. I wrote Douglas returning punts, small bobble. Peppers returning punts. Peppers showing some moves on second return. Douglas returns a punt, gets smashed. Peppers returning punts. It's like,
just cataloging it.
Didn't make any sense.
It's just cataloging it. And then I want to mention Jabril Peppers. He's got an 82.3 on PFF as far as overall defensive grade.
He's overshadowing Duggar by a long shot.
Duggar. He's playing better than Duggar, and he might make Duggar expendable. He's not old. What was he born in?
He's probably late 20s.
He's like
late
28.
It's
28.
28.
28. He's going to be actually he's 27 right now. He's going to be 28 in like 2 weeks.
Guy.
It's funny you mentioned Onwenu too. Duggar wasn't an old rookie. I think he was a 24-year-old rookie, so they might be close to the same age. But you mentioned Onwenu and Duggar, who are the 2 guys we were like, we need to lock those guys up in contract years, and neither one of them is playing especially well. I think Duggar's been pretty good. He's had some lapses, but
he has.
He's been fine, but he had a good game last week.
He did.
I feel like.
I also want to mention the defensive front 7. I thought, Bentley played really good. Judon had a really good game. He had 2 sacks, one including the safety, which was a great play. 2 tackles for a loss. Barmore was thrust in a much bigger role because the D tackle's going down, and I thought he looked great in the game. I don't know if you guys think so.
Not his best game in rush defense, but pass rushing, I thought he was fantastic.
I mean, overall, even in the rush defense, it wasn't great, but I thought he played better than Godchaux usually does in that spot. He wasn't
Godchaux's been awful.
7 yards down the field because with where Godchaux usually is. I thought, pass rushing, he had a great game overall, and just the overall pass rush. I mean, I think it was like the 5th or 6th play or something. Zach Wilson took a sack by just falling down because he was so frightened. So they did a few, like there was a few of those where he was just frightened. I mean, the one drive he did well. They were kind of going a little hurry up. They're a little faster paced, and we weren't getting to him as much, and then they were able to score there. But overall,
you'd like to say it's because of the pass rush that he was scared, but he's generally pretty frightened.
Maybe.
It's his timing. He is afraid to pull the trigger on a timing route.
He is.
Like he wants a guy wide open.
Well, and the other thing
And
too,
that
dude,
you just
is
don't get that in the NFL. He's thinking, Puka Nakua or whoever the fuck is out there at BYU is out there. They're not out there. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like Garrett Wilson's out there, but he got largely shut down by Christian Gonzalez,
Yeah.
and not that
another good player. Really good game.
not that like Zach Wilson's gonna find him consistently and have him get a big game,
But he could.
but
He could just throw
I
to
think
him.
he's the highest rated rookie. Definitely, I think he's third.
Coaches are
NFL
starting to
in pass
talk about him
coverage.
Yeah,
too.
he's killing
Other
all
coaches
corners.
are like, I don't know if there's a better young corner in the league than him right
Really?
now.
Yeah, he's getting he's gone through a gauntlet of receivers and done very well
Yeah.
against all of them.
The way he moves too is just so
Fast.
it's not just smooth. It's
It's
fast.
fast, dude.
It's fast. It's on a dime. He can
he's got
stay
size.
with anyone. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got good size. He's got a lot of good things. The only downside with him was recognition.
And it seems
Coming
like they're
in. And
teaching.
I feel like he's been pretty good with that.
So with the Patriots too. I mean, we've always done, whether it's Bill or someone else on the staff, probably Bill. Like he's always done such a good job at taking cornerbacks with talent and showing them how to read the defense. Like I've heard a little bit about that with Stephon Gilmore. Like now that he's been other teams, he's teaching people how to read defenses. He couldn't do that when he got here. That was like the biggest thing is he
Yeah.
was like lost in
Yeah.
translation for the first half of his season. Then it clicked, something clicked. And he did it, and he became, was the best cornerback for a few years there.
Yeah.
Real quick on Zach Wilson, on top of how bad he's playing, I hate how they're coaching him down there. It's basically they gave him the Aaron Rodgers offense, and they're like, "Here you go, kid." They're telling him to check things that, like there was one he checked into a run play that lost like 4 yards.
Yeah, I saw.
It's like,
Yeah, that was a tough one.
why is he checking? He doesn't even know what's going on downfield. He needs to be like one of these guys. It's like a 1 or 2 read offense, and then he runs.
You know what's sad?
Because he's athletic and he's fast.
They were talking about putting another quarterback in, and they're like, "Oh, this backup's got a great arm." I'm like, Zach Wilson's got one of the fucking best arms in the league.
he can hunt.
He's got all the
that
talent.
Hail Mary,
you can imagine.
tossed. I couldn't believe how far he threw that.
Literally everything with this
It's
kid
all
right
between the
now
ears,
is
yeah.
mental. Everything. It's all mental, dude. Like
Definitely.
he's got the talent
Definitely.
to do whatever he wants on a football field. And you saw the one drive, he got a little confidence going, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Watch out a little bit.
Yeah,
I was like, are you fucking
Yeah.
kidding me?
absolutely.
Zach Wilson's like figuring it out against
He
us
needs
'cause
to
we
be
gave
on
him
a
so many
zero
chances.
media diet
what I mean?
right
It was
now. I'd be like, you need to basically throw your phone in the trash. Don't look at the internet.
And they got, and they got to give him plays where he's going to succeed. Like you have Garrett Wilson, you can easily scheme up plays. Not that I want them to do it. It's the Jets. I hate the Jets, but like they could easily scheme up plays to Garrett Wilson where it's like just go to Garrett Wilson here, boom, go to him. Like don't scan the defense and read what's going on. Just scheme it up to Garrett Wilson and go that way. Scheme it up to the tight end or one of your really good running backs and go that way. And they're putting too much on the kid's plate. He reminds me of a young Josh Allen, like rookie year, where he's just like airballing the ball over people's heads and he can run it and he looks like he's got all this talent, but he can't figure it out on the field and there's too much going on. They figured it out for Josh Allen. Now he's like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So I don't think that's going to happen to Zach Wilson, but they're not.
He needs. I think he needs a change of scenery.
He needs something, dude.
He needs a change of
was it
scenery. Man.
Nathaniel
There's
Hackett?
too much.
Not doing him any goddamn.
Yeah.
favor.
How
just
funny
looks
would
like
it
a
be
dope.
if
fucking
you're hearing
hate
these
that
Kirk Cousins to the Jets rumors? How funny would that be if they went out and traded for Aaron Rodgers and then Kirk Cousins within like 6 months? That'd be so Jets.
It would be a great.
can't even
it'd
do
be
it.
a great fit there. I just don't know what the Vikings would
Just
do.
just
You know,
tank.
although they're
Tank it
0-3,
out.
they might as well. So, the other thing that really left a bad taste in my mouth about this game is Dalvin Cook and Brees Hall had a combined 20 carries for 36 yards
Mhm.
with a long rush of 7 yards. And the game came down to a Hail Mary that was almost caught. That would have been a walk-off win, right?
Yeah.
Or close to it. Like, you got to put this team away, man. Like, they're deficient. They lost Quinnen Williams one play. We scored a touchdown on him.
I
Like,
know, right? Well,
if Quinnen Williams wasn't on the field, do we win that game? Do we even score a touchdown? Like, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
maybe not. Who's to say? But
I mean,
That's
I
an
just feel
offensive
like
issue. I mean, our defense held them to
we're
10
better.
points. That's an
Yeah.
offensive issue.
in the,
Right.
in the what was I going to say? The
But it's a composition. It's a team. You know what I mean? Like you need your offense to complement your defense and
Yeah.
vice versa. And like
well, I was also expecting
win?
the big turnover, the big Jets or Zach Wilson turnover, which they never really did. Now there was the safety, which is pretty much a gimme. I mean, it's basically a turnover. You know, you don't get that field position or anything, but you know, we could have put it away there. I don't remember the play calling specifically right after that, but I think we gave them the ball right back within. So maybe we got a first down. It sounds like, and that was it. But we didn't do enough there. That was the gimme where we should have shut them out. You get a field goal there. The game's over basically. You know, they need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion at that point. But then credit to the Jets that they never had that terrible turnover. There was no turnovers in this game. And I was expecting
we went 3 and out.
a big one. Yeah, we went 3 and out. So that's a big one. You know,
We went 3 and out.
scheme that up. You got, when you get these turnovers, you got to make the most out of it. Dial something up there, and
Yep.
we don't.
We went. So after the safety, their kicker did like a 75-yard bomb.
It was good. That
punt.
was a sick punt.
It was fucking sick, and and then we went 3 and out, and they had an 18-yard return. So 15-10, and the ball is on the Jets 45. So I mean that's like short field for 5 points down.
Yeah.
A minute 43 to go. They couldn't do anything there, and then they turned the ball over on downs. A minute 19 to go, and we go 3 and out, punt the
Yeah,
ball.
we still gave them the ball.
16
That should have
seconds
been
left, and the
That
Jets.
should have been it. They should have had the balls to get a first down there and not just,
Yeah,
let
would
that
be
go
nice
to
to
waste,
to
but-
put the team away, but ultimately they do come out with the W. Get one under their belt. Got the Cowboys on
Needed
deck
it.
next
Needed
week.
it.
Schedule gets a little bit lighter after
Yeah.
that. I think we might have been saying how at the beginning of the year we were looking at the schedule like, oh, this is pretty daunting. But now it's like, are the Commanders, Colts, Giants, Chargers, Steelers, are these teams that good? Like you kind of Raiders exactly.
Chargers.
Broncos.
Chargers are the
is
best
definitely
team
the
of that
best team
list.
there.
Denver.
I was looking at
Denver has
Yeah.
gone straight down.
Dude,
Since,
Chargers.
we're going to get into that, I'm
the
sure.
Chargers barely won their game. They only won because of an interception with
we'll get into
I
that.
mean, we
time.
we
They
talked
did a
about
lot
that last
to-
week. We're like, which of these teams is going to blow it in the fourth quarter? Because it is. Yeah, they
They
both
both did.
tried.
They
The Vikings
both
just
blew it
outblew
in
them.
the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
'em.
they outcharge
Yeah.
they out Vikings. The Chargers trying to charger.
Literally.
Yeah, it was
You
pretty
know?
good. This last week it was there were a ton of upsets and there were a ton of blowouts. Some of these blowouts, the
Yeah.
Browns defense is off the charts right now. Absolutely shut down the Titans. The Dolphins put up 70 points on the Broncos. Ridiculous display.
70.
The Chiefs absolutely annihilated the Bears with Taylor Swift in the house. And then what was the other one? Oh, the Bills. The Bills, just the Commanders disintegrated in that game. 4 huge blowouts.
Yeah, so that we were wondering how the Commanders were going to fare against a good team, and
Yeah,
they
we were
were
like
gonna-
2-0 Commanders. Is this anything?
Nine sacks.
Was it 9
So I guess
sacks?
we're gonna
I
go
mean,
with Bills Commanders.
take whichever one of those blowouts you want.
I mean,
How
that's
about-
a lot.
Yeah.
9 sacks for the Bills. Bad game for Sam Howell. Sam Howell, man, he takes some really uncomfortable pressure. Just invites it on himself. He doesn't feel it. It's such a risky play, and like sometimes that can pan out for you, but sometimes it goes the other way. And like they just took his initial reads away, first, second read. Sam Howell is an animal. Got crushed in this game. Another good game
Yeah,
for James
right?
Cook, which I think is huge. It's fucking
playing
huge
well.
for the Bills. I don't even think Josh Allen got hit. I don't think he got hit in this game. 0 sacks. I don't really think he had to do that much. At least when he was behind the line of scrimmage, he only ran 3 times, which is, I feel like if you're a Bills fan,
Shocking.
like
That's great.
if you can like preserve Josh Allen's
Yeah,
running for like
exactly.
games that matter when you're not up fucking by a bunch, like that's great for them. Bills Bills defense, or not Bills defense, the Browns defense against the Titans, allowing 3 points. I know they added Okoronkwo, Zadarius Smith, and Dalvin Tomlinson in the
Jim Schwartz
offseason.
also
Garrett,
as the coordinator.
Jim Schwartz coaching the best defense. I mean, they've allowed 20 points all season. The defense, not kind of like pick sixes.
The Titans put up. Let me pull up their total yards. Oh my God, 26, 68,
Yeah,
26 yards rushing,
26
68 yards passing. They didn't even get to 100 total yards in this game.
Yeah, they're awful, man. Awful. 6 first downs the whole game. The defense allowed 6 first downs the whole game. Derrick Henry, when he's on the field,
That's
it's
it.
like they're running
Yeah.
100%.
Not a good
They
look.
take him off the field on all.
Passing
I feel like
down.
they're slowly phasing him out. You know, Tyjae Spears comes
Yeah.
in for a lot of the snaps now.
How about the Dolphins? 70 points, 700 total yards.
I think it's, you know,
All right, so Justin Simmons didn't play in this one,
Yeah.
but that's not worth 50 points.
Can't put it on
No.
that.
Right? Like,
no. I mean, I wonder how it makes the Patriots look too, because we played a really tight, close game with them where they scored 20 whatever points. I mean, it wasn't a high scoring game, and then they dropped 70 on the Broncos without Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
They didn't even play. Your second best offensive
I think
player.
it was 35-10 in both halves.
Was it?
35-10, 35-10.
I mean,
So that's the most points scored since 1966 and the third
Jeez.
most ever.
yeah.
And the Dolphins like shrugged a chance to break the record.
They didn't. Yeah, they
at
didn't
the end
try.
of the game.
They kept like just handing the ball off, and they were just going for 60-yard runs. It's like, what are you supposed to do at that point? And the Broncos. I mean, I think it really says a lot about what Sean Payton's doing down there. He already seems to have lost his team. I mean, when you get 70 scored on you, seems like you've lost your team.
That's fireable territory.
You know?
I saw a video of some girl, not Dolphins fan, Broncos fan, hammered drunk. I mean, I kind of feel for her. You know what I mean? She's trying to fight all the Dolphins fans. Just like,
Brutal.
how drunk do you have to get to stay to the end of a 70
It's
point?
bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys stick that
Not a
out.
chance.
70 points,
No.
like.
No, past 50, I'm out. I mean, I the one I felt the worst for was Garrett. Is it Garrett?
Yeah,
Bowles?
Garrett Bowles. He was
The
like
left
so
tackle.
sad in the locker room after.
He's so sad, and he's a good player. Like, I feel like he's kind of an underrated tackle out there because he's been in Denver so long, and he's a solid player. He was a high pick. Yeah, and he was just like, I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of this shit. I've been on this team for 7 years, and all I've done is lose. And it's like,
Tough pill to swallow.
That's a hard
I mean,
road, man.
even when they had like Orlovsky and like other guys, you know, like scrubs, they were like fairly
They were
competitive. They
middle.
would have never gotten.
Their home,
Yeah,
their home
I
field
would've rather had
advantage
that
was
than-
always huge, and it doesn't seem like
Yeah.
they're so bad it doesn't even register anymore.
I feel like they're always respectable, but like
This game was
70
in
points,
Miami. That didn't play.
It was in my.
I don't see how you rebound from that
You need a
mentally.
complete reset
You know what I mean?
for the Broncos there. So Dolphins and the Bills in the AFC East both have those blowout wins, and they get to play each other next week. That's going to be a highlight reel game.
I know that's gonna be a sick game.
Yeah,
I'm excited
the
for
the
that.
last one of the
Yeah,
blowouts,
that's a
the
good one.
Chiefs just put the Bears in a coffin in that game. Expected.
I mean, it's not really much
I mean, the only thing
there.
to say is Taylor Swift
There's
was
nothing-
was at the
there's nothing
game,
to
and
talk
my worlds were colliding.
Of course,
I'm like, what?
I think everyone's.
I can't have
Was
this.
your wife watching the game with you?
Kelsey's jersey sales went up a ton. He got like 300,000 new Twitter or whatever followers, Instagram followers. I don't really understand that. It's like you're obsessed with Taylor Swift, so you want
Yes,
to follow
that's
his boyfriend.
some people.
Whatever.
I thought Kelsey was married.
I guess not.
Jason is.
Oh, Jason. Yeah, they're
Travis.
easy to
Yeah.
get confused.
I wonder what his podcast did this week. I wonder what his
Probably nuts.
views on his podcast. were like.
Record-breaking numbers, I'm sure.
You know what? They'll all turn on
Oh,
him
yeah.
if they break up.
Oh,
Guaranteed.
Absolutely. They're all Swifties.
Didn't
Some
Bill
other
Bill
Belichick
Belichick had the
games, I was
funniest quote.
surprised to see that the Falcons.
His quote was
Yeah.
Travis Kelsey has had. He goes,
Caught a lot of
he's
balls.
made a lot of big catches in his career, and this would be his biggest by far.
Yeah, that was funny as anything.
Belichick loves Taylor Swift, dude.
Oh, he's a
Yeah.
Swifty.
Uh,
The man's a Swifty. I was gonna say I was surprised to see the Lions beat up on the Falcons. It seemed like a really close game, and then somehow the Lions took it away. So
Yeah,
pretty good.
Oh, the Lions defense
Ritter
played
was
great the
awful.
whole game.
Yeah, they're
Ritter was not very good.
They got after it. I mean, they shut down their run game and made them and got a lead and made them like a one-dimensional team where they had to pass. Not that they got up too big, but they did a great job against Bijan. It's like they came into that game just saying like, we're not going to let Bijan beat us. Held him to 33 yards rushing. Aleem McNeil and Hutchinson were super disruptive. Brian Branch played great. 9 targets on him, 5 catches for 32 yards, 2 pass breakups. And they were moving him around
Rookie
against
safety,
like Pitts and Drake London. Yeah, they were moving him around against like Pitts and Drake London. He dropped, man. I'm like,
I had him in the first
he was
round.
surely
Yeah, he went
a first round pick.
He went like mid.
Yeah, I had him like early
I
to
think he
mid
went in the
first round.
40s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did. Yeah,
And then Laporta was their
Laporta?
early second round pick.
Laporta sighting.
He's damn good.
Yep. And he kind of bombed. If the field was 150 yards, that would have gone 150 yards. There was no one in sight. I don't know.
yeah.
You know,
So that was a good win by them. Another shocking one to me was the Saints were up 17-0. Did you see this? And then somehow the
in
Packers
the fourth quarter.
fought back 18
Yeah.
points to win it.
Dude, how about Matt LaFleur going for 2? They had a field goal and then they had a touchdown, and it was 17-9. Dude goes for 2. So the next touchdown they get, they
Yeah,
just kick
it's
the
bad.
extra point
That's
and
what I
win the
wanted
game.
Belichick
Yeah.
to do against the Dolphins
ballsy.
in week 2. We were down 2. I think we were down like 15
Yep.
points, and we scored the touchdown. I was like, go for 2 now. But he doesn't like
Right.
that analytic stuff.
So-
Okay, let's talk about some of these upsets. There were some good upsets this week, and it starts with the Cowboys dropping a game in Arizona. The lowly Cardinals beat them pretty handily in this game.
It was they had the lead the whole game. Scored 9 points from the beginning, and then just didn't let up. I was like, they're not going to win it. They won
Yeah.
it.
I want to say it was like 18-10 or something at halftime.
They always had a good
Um,
lead, a healthy score lead.
They ran the shit out of the ball all game, and they got some big chunk plays from Dobbs. I was looking at it. They had a bunch of huge chunk plays. They had a RPO to Rondell Moore that went the distance. They had rushing plays of 69, 45, 44, 26, 23, and 20 that had given up points in just one of their first 8 quarters. So, I
Damn.
mean, crazy. And I like, if you had told me before the game
No one would have taken them.
the Cardinals had any fucking chance to win
No
that
one
game,
believed you.
I would have said you're crazy. Basically a team that's what, one of the
I thought they were
favorites to get the
actively
number one
trying to
draft pick.
tank.
And
I think
Yeah.
everyone thought they were trying to tank,
well, honestly, they looked like they were playing hard a couple weeks ago.
and then they
Like
tanked.
they
They're
look like
"Oh,
they're
shit,
buying
we gotta
in.
shut it off.
Maybe we jumped to conclusions a little bit too early on
it
Jonathan
was
Gannon
bad.
with that meme.
It was so cringy.
Oh, what did he say to Kyler
was
Murray?
so
It was like the
cringe.
cringiest
Ooh.
fucking thing I've ever seen. Kyler, hey Kyler. Oh my god,
He
I
seems
can't
like
even
such a
remember what he said,
goofball,
it
but
was
they
like-
are playing hard. And they pulled that one out.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that the Cowboys are human going into our matchup with them next week.
They're not dissimilar offensively than us. I mean, they have Michael Wilson, rookie from Stanford. It's like a
That's who you
big
start
body
with.
kinda
That's you're not going to start with
receiver,
CeeDee Lamb or Tony Pollard.
No. I'm not talking about the
Cardinals.
Cowboys.
Okay.
I'm
You're
talking about the Cardinals. Rondell Moore, I feel like Demario Douglas has a little Rondell Moore to him, you know?
Okay.
2 tight ends there, Ertz and McBride. Marquise Brown, we don't have that speed guy right now, but they just ran the ball. I feel like James Conner is a lot like Ramondre, you know?
Interesting.
Decent offensive line. I think Paris Johnson had a great fucking game.
Yeah, he's been good
unbelievable
so far.
Pretty good.
He has.
So
I mean, it's nice to see the Cowboys falling like that. I hope they don't tighten up the run defense too much this week. We'll get into that though in a minute.
Yeah.
What was
The other
game?
two,
the Ravens losing
yeah,
to the Colts.
that was an upset. Ravens going down to the Colts,
in OT.
right? With Minshew under center for the Colts. He just looks like he fades away. He just fades away from the line of scrimmage and just waits for the pass rush to get there. I think he's going to get killed every play, and then he'll just dump it out. But yeah, the Ravens looked really good until this week.
A lot of field goals. Jackson had some misplays there. Fumbles. They fumbled 4 times. Baltimore. I know it was rainy there. 2 of which were Lamar, and I think he lost one of them.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
A lot of field goals. If you told me someone was going to break an NFL record for field goals over 50 yards in this game, I would have said Justin Tucker. Matt Gay with his big contract, got that huge contract, 4 field goals over 50 yards.
Wow,
for him. Need more from Zay Flowers, I think. The Ravens, they're targeting him short and depending on him to like make things happen. You can send that guy deep too. Like you can move him around, do different things with him.
And then we have the Jaguars losing to the Texans in a game that probably made Ryan pretty happy.
Tank Dell going for like 140 yards. Rookie. Killing it.
Yeah, Tank Dell.
Dell killed
he had
it.
a good game. Stroud was fantastic. Clean in the if you give him a good clean pocket, let him play on time, his accuracy is special. Like he's got to be on platform because he's really good with timing. 2 straight weeks where I feel like the Jaguars receivers are killing him. They had a big fumble last week, maybe more than one. Now that I'm thinking about it, and then they had a bunch of drops in the end zone, or a bunch of drops this week. Calvin Ridley dropped a easy touchdown in the end zone. I feel like Trevor Lawrence is playing well. They got to get more from their defense.
I mean, they gave up 30.
Trayvon Walker,
Texans. It's like that's bad.
Walker in particular, I think he needs to step it up just because of where they took him, and it's not really fair to him because he was never that player in college, where he's like a crazy pass rusher. He was just solid at everything, and because he tested so well physically, I mean, he shot up. I had the Patriots taking him at like 22 or whatever it was that year.
Who is this? Who are you saying?
2 years ago. Trayvon Walker from Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
He went number 1 because he tested like no one's ever tested
he beat
before,
all Jadeveon Clowney's testing marks.
Right. And you're expecting him because you took him number 1 overall to be like
so
Julius
dominant.
Peppers or whatever. It's like he's not.
And he hasn't done it.
He hasn't done it before, and he's still young.
He was super 22? Young when he came out. He's probably 22.
Maybe 23. So, yeah, it's tough. But did you see the kick return for the fullback?
Yeah, how great was that?
85 yards.
I missed it.
That was fucking awesome.
I miss fullbacks. I wish we had more fullbacks going around. Yeah,
and he was running away from people.
Some good wheels on him. The Seahawks hosted the Panthers without. I mean, this is the comparison of C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young down in Carolina. Bryce Young is out for this game. Andy Dalton fills in, throws for over 300 yards, lights up the Seahawks defense, and gets a victory on the road.
Had a good game.
Just like that Seahawks team that was 2-0 coming in.
No.
What? I thought the Seahawks were.
I read that wrong. My bad. But Dalton did. Dalton did light it up, throwing the ball around. You can see the difference between a veteran quarterback and a guy that's pretty fresh.
I know Dalton could get another shot if he keeps that up. For sure.
You could do a lot worse, man. You look around the league at some of these scrubs that are in there.
I know.
Like
I'm surprised. Like Ritter, he's not getting a shot over Ritter. It's like what?
Yeah, Panthers are 0-3, man. I don't know what the deal is with Bryce Young. What did he hurt?
I didn't think so. I think he's already practicing.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think he's expected back.
There's no need to rush him back. I feel like Andy Dalton's doing a fine job. Like I wouldn't throw him to the wolves.
It's an ankle injury,
because that offensive line's no good right now. Their defense, I don't think it's that bad, And then sometimes they're just, I don't know what I'm going to get from week to week. They got some good players over there.
Yeah,
Brian Burns,
beast.
Who's the kid from Auburn there? Derek Brown.
Yeah, Derek Brown's a very good player.
kid from South Carolina, J.C. Horns over there. I don't know, man. Why do they suck so bad? Why do they allow 37 fucking points?
0-3.
I didn't watch that game.
They don't really have any downfield receivers, but like you said, he did throw it a lot this week. So
They have Terrace Marshall and
DJ Chark, I think, is their other receiver.
I don't even
Yeah.
DJ Chark.
no,
Okay,
is it
Thielen actually had a really good game.
I think they have Chark. Yeah.
Thielen's coming on.
Thielen had a
Yeah, these
touchdown,
last
didn't he?
couple weeks, he's been coming on. And then Monday night, we had another doubleheader. Eagles crushed the Buccaneers. That was never close. Eagles just steamrolled that running
I
game.
need to talk
And then the Rams and Bengals was real tight. It was kind of a pretty ugly game. Jamar Chase really went off in the third quarter, I think it was. Joe Burrow's still
finally
not looking like himself. I think they're saying he re-aggravated his calf. It's like, it's not looking good for our Super Bowl pick here.
No, not at all.
1-2, early days. At least they got a win.
Talk about an ugly win, though. I mean,
hey, a win is. We say same thing about the Patriots.
yeah, but the Patriots
was
at
not
least
pretty.
beat up on the Jets. From what I didn't see the whole game. I only saw the second half, so I guess that's. But they looked bad.
Yeah.
They couldn't move the ball. It's like Jamar Chase wasn't getting open. Finally, like you said, in the third quarter, a little bit he got going, but
Rams
They
are
aren't
kind of sneaky.
weirdly
aren't they?
sneaky
Let's
so
go
far
with the
this
Rams
season.
a little.
they are a little sneaky.
why-
Stafford had two
Yeah.
bad picks. The second one really sealed the game for him. I mean, Burrow was 26 for 49 and an interception.
Not the
good.
best. Not the
good.
best. So it was a pretty good slate of games week 3. We got a lot of really good ones coming up here week 4. Starts
God.
with the Pats and Cowboys, obviously. Mid-afternoon game.
Mhm.
It's we're getting so much national pub so far this year. It's kind of disappointing that we play such a bland version of
I know,
football right now, at least. But we're catching the Cowboys at a good time. They were feeling super duper confident going into last week, and now they definitely got, they got their heat check game in where, hey,
And they have the 49ers.
yes, they might
next
be looking ahead. They go, all right, this is an AFC team, doesn't mean as much for playoff scenarios. I mean, did you see Belichick came out and was like, I'm not going to compare anybody to Micah Parsons. Anybody to Lawrence Taylor. Speaking about Micah Parsons, but
He
and
came
said
out
that.
and just said that. I
they
heard
didn't
the clip. I
even
didn't know.
like say, is Micah Parsons nearing
prompt
Lawrence
him.
Taylor? They were just like, talk about Micah Parsons. He's like, I'm not comparing anyone to Lawrence Taylor. And they're like, who said Lawrence Taylor?
No, because everyone's been saying that the last few weeks. I mean,
They-
I've heard
yeah,
what
they're
they
never
want.
going to
They
hear
wanna
that from
hear
Belichick.
Yeah.
But even to just have him bring up that name, I mean, Parsons is obviously special. They got DeMarcus Lawrence across from him on the other side. Trevon Diggs is now out with the injury, out for the year. Stephon Gilmore's there in the back end. I mean, it's a pretty decent defense, but we just saw what might be the Achilles heel last week, where Cardinals got going in the running game. We're able to actually not just churn it out, but break those long runs, as Ryan detailed before. You'd like to see us to be able to take advantage of some of those weaknesses. I feel pretty good about our defense, keeping this team, below 25 points, somewhere in the 15 to 25 point range. I think our defense could do. It's just, can we get above that on offense?
That's the thing.
right.
That's the thing. Like when you play against the Cowboys, I feel like they want you to pass the ball. So it's about getting ahead early, so you don't have to play into their game that they want you to. They're gonna do what they do on offense. You just kind of hope Dak Prescott. He's so inconsistent. Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
Like
I don't think he's been having a
one
good
week
year, to be honest.
1 week you think he's a world beater. You think he's a top 10 quarterback, and then the next week you're like, what are you doing there?
Yeah.
What are you looking at? He throws into triple coverage late in the Cardinals game, like interception.
Yeah, it was
What are you
ugly, dude.
what are you looking at?
That was an ugly pass.
They got some players over there. CD Lamb's a good player. Honestly, their offense isn't that scary when you look at it. Like
No, not really.
CD Lamb to me is a legitimate wide receiver one. Gallup, Brandon Cooks. Is Brandon Cooks even playing?
I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know. I didn't notice him last week. But defensively, I think that
He's got
Arizona
2
did the rest of the
catches,
league.
or sorry, 4 catches for 40 yards at this point. So if he's
he
playing,
is
it's
playing,
not a
okay.
lot.
Yeah. I saw Dowling or whatever the backup running back is in there a whole hell of a lot over Pollard. I don't know what's going on there. But I think Arizona did the rest of the league a huge favor just to kind of game plan and show like, hey, this is a weakness of this team. You can run on these guys.
Yeah.
And our running game has been pretty anemic so far. I feel like they're very similar, at least their front look, their linemen and James Conner. To me, it's very reminiscent of what we have with Ramondre.
Mm-hmm.
James Conner is a very similar running back to me. So maybe this is the week Ramondre gets going. And I think that changes a lot of things. If Ramondre can get going, like things look different.
I mean, also too, Moore, Dobbs got a couple carries, so they were giving the ball not just to Connor. Connor only had 14 carries for 98 yards, which was really really good running average there. But they kind of got it going in a few different places. We need the speed to get in there. I don't know who their second cornerback is now that Diggs is gone. You can attack that. And it seems like their safety plays bad. I don't really know who their safeties are.
Donovan Wilson,
Malik Hooker,
and
Malik Hooker's he's
Malik
more of a
Wilson,
coverage
Wilson,
player
right?
than a tackler.
Okay.
Donovan Wilson's a Michigan kid.
Couldn't tell
I
you.
want to say Donovan Wilson.
I mean, it seems like the Cardinals were able to kind of shut out CD Lamb. Michael Gallup had a little bit, but it really didn't do much. I don't know. I'm not that afraid of Dallas. It seems like if you get in clear passing situations, they're going to be able to get to the quarterback between Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. But now that you don't
that's
have...
the scary thing.
That's the scary thing. But now that you don't have Diggs also on the outside... Maybe you can get
the
things
scariest
happening.
thing to me.
It's scary going with those two guys when you have 2 outside corners that can shut people down. Now that you only have one, and it's Gilmore, who's he's a little older, a little longer in the tooth. It's not as scary. No. It's just not.
I think when you have a player like a Bosa or a Garrett or a Parsons, that you don't need to blitz and you can still get pressure, like immediate fucking pressure. Like he beat your best player in like a millisecond. That's always the biggest concern. And like Belichick is going to see that. He knows, how to game plan for the best players in the game. And, I picked Jalen Petrie
defensive player of the year.
Defensive player of the year. But to be honest, I was just doing that to be different. There's no one better right now than
Micah
Parsons and
TJ Watt has been phenomenal.
Just the two
He's
best.
been phenomenal this year.
TJ Watt's
we
been
should
very
point
good
out,
too. But he was hurt last year. You didn't know how he was going to come back.
The first injury report came out. Cowboys had 5 guys out of practice today. 2 of them were just for rest, DeMarcus Lawrence and CeeDee Lamb. But I don't know if you want to read into that. Also missing Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and Tyler Biadasz, who might be their starting center.
They're both
they're missing
out.
3 starting offensive linemen: center, left tackle, right guard.
Let's go.
Arguably their 3 best offensive linemen.
Yep.
Tyler Smith is pretty damn good at left guard.
DeMarvion Overshown.
That's
Overshown,
huge,
their linebacker from Texas, is on the IR.
Did Zach Martin play last week? Because he was... I don't know if he was going to play. I know he was hurt. So if the 3 of them, or even if you get 2 of them that can't play, with the way our front 7 has been playing, that could
open some
really
things up.
Be a difference maker in the game.
It's optimistic, right? To assume that they all don't play. Like Tyron Smith is Pro Bowler.
Sure.
Zach Martin's arguably the best guard in the game. Biadasz is a really good center.
They might just be limited. They might be limited.
I feel like we can get
I think our defensive line
might be limited.
Is able to stand up to this offensive line, if not have a slight edge.
Yeah.
Well, is Godshaw going to play? I know Ekwale
is gone.
Is IR, right? He's done for the season.
Yeah,
he might be able to come back. I don't know if you have to
to.
designate him out for the year.
It's a while. That's a long injury.
It's a bicep, torn bicep.
When do we get? We need to
Bicep,
start getting some guys back too. Like
After
I feel
this
like we're
week,
missing some pieces,
Jack
especially on
Jones
offense.
is eligible to come back.
Did we get
If we, John Jones is
Sean
practicing.
Jones?
Godshaw's
Oh, he's
practicing
back.
too. So Strange. So it's like our guys
Good.
aren't sitting out at least.
Limited or full?
They were both.
Are they
They were
limited,
all
or
three of
are
those
they
guys
full?
were limited, but they're practicing.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like Johnny Jones has kind of been a game time decision now for 2 weeks. So hopefully this is the game he comes back. We could really use him. Match
Yeah.
him
We
up
could really use him. Yeah.
on Michael Gallup. I think Christian Gonzalez goes against CeeDee Lamb, which is actually I think
That's
a
a
really
fun
good matchup
one.
for
That's
him.
a fun matchup.
Yes. That's a
I
fucking
think that's
great
a really good
dude.
matchup for him. And I think we've seen more and more Keon White. They just don't call the guy. They hold him on every single goddamn play, and they just do not call it. It's like maybe because he overpowers, but they never block him inside the shoulder pads ever. And they don't call it. So I'd like
Lawrence
to see
Guy
more of
was
him. We
horrible.
kind of got pretty close to that rush that we wanted to see last week, which was Keon White, Barmore, Judon, and Uche. I think Wise was in there for different guys at different times. So
Mhm.
that's a lot to handle. Bentley keeps making plays. I think he's really being underrated, and obviously our safety play. So I'm not worried about our defense. I don't think Dallas, like you said, Dallas's offense right now, especially with their offensive line, it's like they don't seem that scary. It's their defense, and our offense needs to get moving. I really want to see our offense do something this week. I think they're missing enough pieces over there on defense that we could maybe do something if you scheme things up. If you can get around this and score some points on this defense, that opens the conversation up a lot for, oh wow, okay, maybe they've figured a couple things out. And they've started it. We've started over the last couple games. We're not playing great, but they've started figuring little things out here and there. It would be great if they put things together. I mean, Mac Jones is like top 10 in most
Yeah,
quarterbacks
for like all the
in terms of
stats.
stats.
Yeah.
He's
Completions.
yards, passing attempts, completions, touchdowns.
We just need touchdowns. We need more.
We need
We need
points.
more
We need
touchdowns. We need to
points.
finish more drives.
That's what it is. We're the
we have-
the worst, one of the worst teams in the league between like the 40 and the 20 or something. It's like something, I don't know what the
Yeah.
range is, but it's like that field on before the red zone. It's like we're one of the best teams in the league, top 5 I think at crossing the 50. And then we're one of the worst teams from going from like the 40 to the
We
20.
just can't get in the red zone.
But we're also we're one of the most efficient teams in the red zone. So when we actually do get in the red zone, we've seemed to score. Now our problem is last year was once we got to the red zone, we couldn't do anything. This year there's a 20-yard, and it seems like all of our all of our drives, we get to like the 45 or the 40 or the 35, and then there's a terrible penalty. There's a bad play call, and then the drive's over, and we have to make a short punt on and we do it all the time. I feel like we punt from the 40 or the 38 constantly. So if we can figure that out, that's huge.
I was just watching the Cardinals, and I'm like, how were they able to win? And they controlled the line of scrimmage with the run game, and they did some different things to open up that run game. Mazi Smith had a horrible game. Dante Fowler was horrible. Jonathan Hankins, horrible. Those are 3 players that are not horrible, but they had bad games. And I'm just looking at their scheme there and what they did. And you just got to be, doing things a little bit different. I mean, they had Trips right, wide receiver left flank, and Rondale Moore out of the shotgun as a running back. Their quarterback got loose. That was a bit of a problem for them to maintain spy on the quarterback.
Well, Rondale Moore had a good game.
I feel like
and he's that
quick. He's a good player,
man.
He's
that quick, shifty guy. So that to me says we need to get Demario Douglas out there. We need
but not necessarily passing. Like use him differently. You know what I mean?
Use him as a weapon.
Yes. Yes. Marcus Jones, man, that would have been a great player to have for this game. DeMarcus Lawrence, I mean, they have blue chip guys. I wouldn't fuck with Gilmore. There's no reason to mess with him.
No reason to fuck with Gilmore.
Yeah. Go at Jordan Lewis or whoever the hell else they have over there. I don't think they have a lot in way of a corner.
Yeah.
With Diggs being out.
Yeah. What are we thinking?
So offensively, that's what I want to see. I want to see run. Be creative. And then the other side of the ball, I just want to see a pass rush. That's all I want to see. Pass rush, and especially if a bunch of those guys are out, there's no excuse for Judon and Uche and Barmore and those guys to get a pass rush. I wonder how we're going to be with our rush defense, though.
Got to be able to tackle Tony Pollard. You miss him once or twice, he could break a big one. Okay, so what do we think of for predictions in this one? Okay, James, kick us off.
I want to go last.
That's a tough one. I mean, I've been projecting the Patriots, I think, to get 27 points every week this year, and they haven't come close. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go 27 Pats, 20 Dallas.
Nice. I'm going 23 Patriots, 20 Dallas.
You guys both have the Pats.
I think we got a slight edge.
Yeah, I think we're going to win.
It's tough.
I think we're going to win. I think we're in a good spot in Dallas. I was mentioned to Sean, I think your mic was off, or your earphones were off for a sec there, is they have the Niners next week. If they're looking forward to anything.
They're looking ahead.
I mean, not
after last week, I don't see why.
It's early in the season for a trap game, but possible trap game.
Damn, he couldn't do it.
21-20.
Couldn't do it.
Brutal.
You struggled with it.
I mean, I want you do it. I'd be.
Yeah, that was an internal battle we just saw.
I did.
All right, no, it's in.
The pick is in. Okay, some of the other games we alluded to this before, but that Bills-Dolphins game in Buffalo, 12 p.m. start.
1 o'clock.
Or 1 o'clock Eastern.
1 p.m., yeah.
That's just going to be... I mean, the way the Bills defense seemed to put it together a bit last week against, probably not the best offense the Commanders have, but their offense, the Bills offense put it together. They're figuring out how to run the ball here. The Dolphins are obviously high-flying, particularly on offense right now. I mean, it should just be fireworks.
Buffalo's going to be 77 and sunny on Sunday.
Beautiful. I mean, what's the over-under for this game?
Beautiful.
Is it like 73 points? Like, what's it going to...
54
That's it?
right now. I'm looking. This is
that
on
seems
ESPN,
like a trap bet.
So.
Take the under.
Yeah. That's going to be a great one. I mean, you're going to get to see, is Buffalo back? How legit is Miami? Because at this point, they're 3-0. I mean, we know they're legit. Are they division leaders legit? Is it finally time that they overtake Josh Allen and the Bills in the division? They've owned it, the last 3 years, I think. So it's going to be a good one. I have a feeling the Bills are going to come out on top. I mean, Miami's so hot right now. It's tough to pick against them, but it's just a matter, it's a away game, and at some point, someone's, the Patriots kind of put some tape on how to contain them a little bit. Clearly, Denver didn't look at that tape. You can bet that Buffalo is going to look at that tape and figure a couple things out. And can Miami's defense slow down the Bills? I mean, the Bills have had 2 really good offensive games. It's going to be, that's maybe the best game of the weekend.
I think Buffalo has the second best coverage grade in the league right now.
Oh, wow, really?
Micah Hyde back there. Tre'Davious White seems to be coming back into form. I think Buffalo needs to put their stamp on this game and say, we're still the guys.
Yeah.
That's a big deal,
Huge deal.
And I think that if they can get James Cook going like they have been, and then open things up for Gabe Davis and Khalil Shakir and Stephon Diggs and those tight ends.
Dalton Kincaid.
But I know who they are.
Dawson Knox.
Dalton Kincaid, and who's the other? Dawson Knox, yeah.
Damn.
I like Buffalo in this game, man. Bring
them
them back down to earth.
You like Miami?
And I know Miami's hot, but I just was not impressed. And I really feel like Denver gave up in that game. Denver just quit. I don't think Denver's as bad as
you don't score
70
I think they just if a team plays you competitive. There's no way. It's the
no.
NFL.
If they're playing at their best, Patrick Surtain, some of those guys over there. I mean, they didn't have Justin Simmons, but those are special players. You don't get 70 if those guys are playing at where you know
if they
what
believe in
we
the
know
team
they are,
type
right?
of thing, you know.
Right. You know, we have a chance to win. Like
Yeah.
we have a
Damn. I didn't. I was
just don't
hoping
see
one
it.
of you wouldn't pick the Bills. I don't want to make this a clean sweep. But yeah, I think I'm leaning the Bills.
Make it a
I
clean
feel like the
sweep. Who gives
Bills,
a shit?
like you said, they need a statement game. They want to. Yeah.
As hot as Miami is, like Buffalo is the team to beat in our division.
And until
And they
the,
have
yeah,
been
until
for the
you
last
beat
few
them, they're
years,
the
so
team to beat.
these-
So
You know, if you want to go ahead and
Go,
if you
crown
want to
their
crown them,
asses.
then crown their ass.
Okay.
You know,
AFC. It's in Buffalo.
where is the game? Is it in Miami?
Buffalo, 77 and
Oh, yeah.
sunny. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with my pick.
weather's not a
AFC
factor.
North matchup. Baltimore Ravens coming off that OT loss to the Colts. They're going to Cleveland, playing that difficult.
The Browns, yeah, this is for the.
I feel like the
division right
AFC
now,
North
huh?
only plays other AFC North teams. It's like I feel like they're always playing
I
each
know,
other.
It seems like they're always playing it. They're always
Right?
playing
They
each
don't-
other.
You know,
Yeah,
this is a tough game for the Ravens.
I'm taking the
I
Browns.
think I
man.
might take the Browns
I'm
too.
taking the Browns on the road for the Ravens after a real tough game last week. Lamar didn't look good.
Yeah,
That defense is so
The
good.
Browns are playing really good defense. It's a hard game to bounce back to. You know,
That's got to be
They're
the best
certainly
defense
playing
in
the
the
best
NFL
right now.
Cleveland,
are they? You think so?
I think they are.
San Francisco's
I
pretty
gotta look.
badass.
San Francisco's badass, but I don't know, man. I think.
Yeah.
I got to look at it, but yeah, I think I want to
all right.
go Cleveland.
Gosh, we're agreeing
I
too much.
feel like another.
Yeah, Cleveland's got the second best.
Here's
defense
one
in
we'll
the NFL
disagree
right
on.
now.
Thursday night,
Ooh.
Lions Packers, both 2-1 games in Green Bay, Lambeau Field. I think that's going to be a good game.
Dude.
I think that's going to be a fun game. There's going to be some big mistakes that'll be fun to watch, and there's going to be some good offense. I mean, I think the Packers win. I feel like they're on a little. They're figuring some shit out there with Jordan Love. 18 back from Atlanta. I know Ryan's
Yeah.
going to pick the Lions. So
I'm picking the
Yep.
Lions. I think that Jordan Love had a huge turnover-worthy play last week that he didn't get punished for, and like, I'm not a huge Jordan Love guy right now. You know, I know he's got some. The other thing is his playmakers besides Aaron Jones
they're nobody.
and Dylan, they're
Yeah.
so young.
It's a tough. Yeah,
they're
it's a tough
all
group.
first or second. Dobbs and Reed, they've had good seasons to this point. Musgrave's going to be a good player, but like, they haven't had Bakhtiari.
Jones has
They've
missed a
been
couple
without,
games. He's coming back this week. Aaron Jones.
They've been without another player.
Christian
too, right?
Watson.
It's just not coming to me right now. But
He's been out.
Christian Watson,
Yeah.
another second-year receiver. They got so many. of
Dude,
these.
they have so
Um,
much riding on Christian Watson, and he was what he played like
Something
5
like
games
that.
last year, and
He flashed.
I don't know
He
that they
flashed a
do
little bit.
because they're getting so much. They're getting so much out of Romeo Dobbs and
Yeah.
Jaden Reed
They
from
are.
Michigan State. It's like, man, who is coaching their receivers? And
I know.
why can't he be?
It's
in
like
New
the
England,
Packers
you
and the
know?
Steelers wide receivers coaches are just the best in the NFL.
You would have thought you would have got more out of Troy over here, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Come
you-
on, Troy.
well,
Coach him up. Coach him up. It's
Yeah,
not
you
a
think.
it was a problem even like back when Troy was playing. So
The other thing in that game, I'm so impressed with the Lions defense right now. Like, it's a different story now. Like the players they added in free agency, they brought in a bunch of guys. The safety Gardner Johnson,
he's hurt.
he might be hurt, but Branch they brought in. They brought in some corners.
Jack Campbell isn't even really playing that much
Um,
at middle linebacker yet.
Jack Campbell's.
I
Not even,
always liked
Anzalone's
Anzalone.
played
He's a
well.
tackle machine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
know, man.
leaning Lions also.
I've been high in the Lions since
Also
the start of the
leaning
season.
Lions.
Yeah.
What else we got? If the Broncos beat the Bears, do you think the Bears are on a fire sale? Start trading everyone away. That's what I want
mean,
to happen. I want I want them to lose, and DJ
Dude,
Moore
I
coming. to
think he
the
gets
Patriots.
traded twice in a year. Yeah, I
Why
mean,
not?
do they even have any other assets to trade? I don't know if I can name one person on that defense.
They've got to have a left tackler, a tackler.
Wow,
Jaquan
you had to dig
Brisker.
into the bag for that one.
That's a Penn State safety. I just know draft picks, like
Yeah,
don't
that's a
listen to me.
terrible,
Um,
terrible game. I would take Denver in that game.
Yeah,
I think
I'd take Denver.
Chicago's they're in the ground already.
Man, Denver's
Darnell
gotta be
Wright on
pissed.
right tackle. He's not bad, all right.
He's a
Isn't he
rookie.
decent. Darnell Wright, right tackle.
They
Yeah.
just drafted him number 10 overall. I thought it was an overdraft. I thought it was a massive overdraft for him, but who am I? Chicago sucks really badly.
Yeah, we don't need to
And
talk
I'm
about
just
this
wondering,
game
like,
Yeah, we
more
already spent
than
too
we
much
and
time.
then Denver just allowed 70. It's
Yeah,
like, why are we even talking about it?
Okay, let's
I
talk the
guess
early
Denver-
game on Sunday. First London game of the year. Jacksonville playing at home in London. They're going to spend 2 weeks
brutal.
out there. All their players should buy timeshares
Playing.
out in London at this point.
What do you
They're
mean 2
they're there.
weeks?
They're playing there
Why
next
are they
week.
spending
Also,
2 weeks there?
Jacksonville's playing
What?
What?
They're playing
back-to-back
2 games
weeks.
in London?
Yeah.
Is the NFL secretly trying
Jack-
to get them out of
I
Jacksonville?
mean, this is a
into
pretty
London?
badly kept
They're gonna have
secret.
to change
I
the
know.
name. There's no Jaguars in freaking England.
I'm sure they would change it.
Does that owner?
Oh,
that
that's a
owner
fun
owns, like,
segment.
Manchester City or
What should the
something,
team
right?
name be in London? It's like the London Fish
The
and
Brits.
Chips.
The London Brits.
The
You
London
gotta go with the
Lions.
Lions.
No,
Oh,
you
you can't go with the Lions.
Can't go with the Lions.
That's what England
The
is.
London
It's the 3
Towers.
Lions, right? So you can't go with that because there's already
The London Bridges.
Tower.
the Big Ben,
The
Jacksonville,
London
Big
Churchills.
Big Ben,
That's what I'm going with.
I mean,
fish and chips,
These
fish and chips.
fish and chips. Yeah. These early games out there, it's always drag teams, and it's always just a weird, not well paced game. I mean, I guess I don't know really how to explain that much more than that, but it's just like,
I just
no one
love
plays
seeing.
well. that flight.
I love seeing the fans that show up in whatever jersey they have. It's yeah,
just
it's
whatever.
like it's Atlanta versus
mishmash.
Jacksonville, and there's like
It's like-
49ers fans and Seahawks jerseys. You know, like,
Bengals and whatever.
you guys
yeah,
are just
it's like
psyched
a-
to see the
Soccer,
game.
the Premier League fans are the best. I mean, the soccer out there, I call it soccer. Man, if you put all of our sports combined into one, and
in
then,
in
like,
terms of fandom,
you know what I'm saying? Like all of our teams combined into one team. We only have one team, and it's like Chelsea or whoever the fuck. It's the Patriots here.
Yeah.
That's how much they care about that team.
Yeah.
They're obsessed. So I just hate that it's the National Football League, and we're playing games overseas. And Jacksonville's going to lose 2 games. They're
They
not
count-
both home
oh,
games.
I doubt
At
they're
their
both home
stadium.
games. This first one counts as a home game.
That would be a huge disadvantage. If
I'd be
2
so
of your-
fucking
that'd be
pissed
an
if I was
FU.
a season ticket
2 of
holder.
your home games
Right.
are in London. What's next? What do you like next? Bengals
Want my
Titans.
money back.
I mean, I'd be surprised if the Bengals
just
don't
feels
beat
like
the
an
Titans.
ugly
The Titans
game.
are looking pretty
It's-
trash. He is so
Tannehill.
bad. Tannehill. He's my least favorite
He's-
quarterback in the league.
He's in the
Pick anybody. I'd take Zach
Ooh,
Wilson over him.
wow. Tannehill's definitely in the running for worst
He will.
starting quarterback in
I
the league.
Hate Ryan Tannehill as a starting
We get
quarterback
you.
in the NFL.
He's also
I think
making
so
like
bad.
$30 million to play terrible.
Yeah.
The way they played last week, and I know that was a good defense, but the way they played last week, 3 points,
Terrible.
Bank.
I Derrick Henry looks like a shadow of himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a believer in the
Okay.
Titans right now. So-
Let's see what's next. Pittsburgh at Houston. Houston coming off their first victory, second victory. Obviously,
Houston.
I thought watching that the Pittsburgh
Houston, yeah.
offense was very frustrating. Watching them play the Raiders.
They're very frustrating to
Yeah.
watch.
They suck. They suck, man. All they do, it's suck,
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
fucking play.
Lucky as
suck.
hell play
Like, that's-
70 yards, boom, and then they go back to sucking. Absolutely.
Pickens makes a ridiculous play. Najee Harris looks like an old man.
He looks like he's going
Yeah.
running in slow motion.
What's going on? Fryermuth's a good player. I like Fryermuth a lot. I thought they added, a lot of nice pieces on their offensive line. I just don't know what the fuck's going on with Najee Harris. I thought their running game was going to
Dude,
be legit,
he's
and it was going to free up things for Kenny Pickett a little
Yeah.
bit, but I haven't seen that
he's
at
not
all.
playing well. Pickett just looks like it's. I thought last year he looked promising. This year it looks like they're putting a lot on him, and he just can't step up to the plate. It's too much for him. He's got that kind of deer in headlights look when something goes wrong. Like, oh, what happened? It's like you should know what happened. You threw it to the wrong team, but
Yeah.
Kenny
Okay.
Picks.
The team that the Steelers were able to beat. We didn't even talk about this one last week when Josh McDaniels and the Raiders were
I know,
down
right?
8 points, and
I
were
like this
driving
game.
at the end of the
I like
game
this
and
game.
decided to kick a field goal instead of go for it on 4th down to try to score. There was like 2 minutes left in the game. It was like 2.5 minutes.
I mean, I didn't mind that move if your defense, if you knew your defense, like you dialed something up on your defense to make a
Yeah.
stop, but they didn't. They just lined up and
Yeah, just got
beat.
smoked. But the Las Vegas Raiders are traveling to Los Angeles, play the Chargers. A couple teams that could really use a win.
That's going to be
at this point in the season. I don't think the Raiders are really playing that well. Jimmy G had a concussion. We'll see if he's able to go. Their rookie Aiden O'Connell looked really good in the preseason. It'd be kind of fun to watch him go out there and sling it. But the Chargers really, after starting 0-2, the Chargers could really use this game to get back to 500.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Raiders, at least Garoppolo finally figured out all you have to do is kind of just throw it towards Devontae Adams. He kind of didn't figure that out the first 2 games, and then the game the other day, he figured that out. Devontae Adams dominated, and I thought they should have won. They could have got there. Yeah, McDaniels, the tough call, the tough field goal, go ahead field goal there. But I don't know, man. The Chargers just do everything in their power to play down to a team and screw up. They have more talent than everyone they played, I think, personally. Way more. And they just play down to their opponent and find a way to lose. We briefly mentioned, we didn't talk much about the Minnesota game. The only reason they lost that game they won the game was because the Vikings outdid them in being terrible. The Vikings had
the Chargers did Charger.
Dude, the Chargers couldn't. What was it? They went 4 and out with the ball in their hands to win the game.
The Chargers went for it on 4th and 1 from their own 24.
Didn't
up 4 points.
Didn't get it.
Up 4 points. Vikings stuffed it. The Vikings need a touchdown. They have a minute and 51 left.
Good old Captain Kirk.
They get the ball all the way to the 6, and they can't capitalize. Kirk throws a pick to Kenneth Murray in the end zone to end it. Like the Chargers tried to give you that game.
They did everything in their power, dude. They let you go all the way down to the 6-yard line to win it, and Captain Kirk comes in and throws a pick. I don't know, was he throwing to Justin Jefferson? I didn't see the play.
Why would you go for it?
I have no idea why you would do that.
Oh, it's Hawkinson.
You're on your own 24.
Dude, Staley does that year in and year out, and somehow he still has a job. Your own 24.
He had
up
one
4.
earlier in the
That's
game
best,
where he
dude.
went for it and got it.
You're up
and like
4 and you go for it. Like that's what you do when it's like 50 seconds left and you're down by a touchdown. Like you go for it.
He's out of his fucking
You know
mind.
what I mean?
He's ridiculous. Did you see by the way, did you see the throw Justin Herbert to Parham? It was like a 1-yard touchdown.
Oh,
I didn't see it. No.
I couldn't believe it
so hard.
Parham contacted the ball on the front end, and it just kept going all the way through. And he was so lucky to hang on to the back end of that ball.
Dude, it was insane. The amount of velocity on a 1-yard throw like that for Parham to catch it, like
it was incredible. I'm surprised the gloves didn't tear.
Incredible catch, but that's so hard. He threw it and he needed to throw it hard there. But man, I love Herbert. You know, I think he might have set a record this week for anyone that had 40 completions in a game, the highest completion percentage, 85%.
Wow.
Damn.
So man, he's just special. He's special. They lost Mike Williams for the season, I think.
Wow, really?
So they're gonna have Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnston step up big time.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to figure out.
I still like the Chargers.
They gotta do something about the 4th quarter. If they fired Brandon Staley tomorrow, I would feel better about that team.
Oh, I would.
They need a game managing coach. Can you hire
someone that plays it smart and simple? Because that's all they need. They have all the talent in the world. You don't really have to coach them up that much, or at least I wouldn't.
Well,
think
Eckler's still out. They didn't have Eckler, and they didn't have a running game because of it.
Yeah.
So
what else do we got here? I don't really want to talk about the Bucs Saints game. It's
There's a lot of games that are going to be close games, but it's not like exciting matchups.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Bucs Saints, like
it's like I don't really have
like
much to say about that. I have no
Vikings
idea
Panthers is going to be a close game, and we just don't care.
No one cares.
The Vikings need a
The
win.
Cardinals Niners
0-3.
interesting. I mean, the Cardinals just up to set the Cowboys. You think, and the Niners have the Cowboys the week after. Do you think there's any chance in hell that they make it competitive? I mean, the Niners just been destroying everybody.
No, Niners are on fire. I just don't see it.
I don't either.
And I didn't see the Cowboys though last week. Like I thought.
So there you
Cowboys
go.
would crush them, so.
It's possible. You know what pisses me off the most about this week is they keep putting the goddamn 2 New York teams who suck.
Yeah,
in
right.
prime time.
I'm tired of seeing the Giants.
We have to watch one every single
you gotta
week.
change it. Like
Every week, it's
as
prime
soon as
time.
Aaron Rodgers went down, they should have been relegated to like
Off.
1 o'clock games.
Send them to London.
Not even on TV.
for the whole year. The Jets have a residency in London.
The fucking London wankers. That's what they should be. They should send the Jets to fucking London and make them the London
Wanker's
wankers.
a
Or
good one.
Germany.
I like that.
Send them over to Germany. Yeah, it's like the Chiefs game. I mean, is that even?
No,
a
it
game?
can't be.
Is
How
there
does that work? All right,
any
so if you're a
chance-
season ticket holder,
Yeah,
and you have a home game,
Yeah.
you paid for fucking 8 or 9 games. Do you get money back or
No.
whatever if your
You're
team has to
fucked.
play in
Oh,
fucking
you-
London?
Oh, if they
No,
play in
I'm not
London,
paying
must.
for a game that's in London.
You must. It's like the same idea
I
with
don't know how
like
they
every
might-
other year they have 8 home games
Right,
or 9 home games.
Oh, I thought
It's probably you don't get charged. For
I thought
it.
you were
It's
gonna
gotta be
say because
discounted.
Aaron Rodgers.
That's
went
what I
down,
thought
like,
you were getting
Monday.
at too, which would be
That's what
they should do
They
that.
should do that.
The
But yeah, I don't.
mean,
is there any chance? Of
I don't
that
think
being a
it
game?
should be.
Sunday Night
I feel like
Football?
if the
No.
Chiefs defense has been really good this year, so I feel like they're going to totally stifle that Jets offense. Not that it takes much to do that. It's just going to be over.
No.
How early do they flex games out of Sunday night? Because they must have been staring this one down like, ah, shit.
It's like
Not
early
mid-season.
enough.
It takes It's not before week 6 or 7, I don't think. But I know the Seahawks, Giants. It's like, ugh, why? Of all the Miami, Buffalo, just flex that in. It should be an open flex, but I know it's production schedules and
Miami Buffalo is at a 1 o'clock.
yeah, 1:00. Put that Sunday or Monday
Oh, that's a
night.
shame.
That would have been unbelievable. Sunday or Monday.
Sunday night. It's made for it.
I mean, Monday night hasn't had a good football game in forever. They've had 4 games in the last 2 weeks, and they've all been just like, whatever.
Dog
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
I bet there's going to be a bunch of close games, and I think we'll be pleasantly surprised. But yeah, when you start looking at some of the matchups, it doesn't get that exciting.
Yeah, there's a few.
There's a
few to
couple
make the
highlight
weekend a lot
games,
fun,
and then
but
there's
that's about it.
a bunch of like well-matched, mediocre to shit games.
Right.
Okay. Well, one of the good games is going to be on
Quick
national TV, 4:30 Eastern. Patriots at Cowboys Stadium. Hope the team can stay healthy.
Our own Sean
I'll be in
Granfield
attendance.
will be in attendance.
I'm going to
that's
get a
right.
recording device to attach to my binoculars so you could see him from whatever nosebleed seats I'm going to be sitting in.
Cool. Live stream.
That'll be awesome. When you fly?
Live
When are you
streaming.
flying?
Friday
out?
night,
Tomorrow?
Friday night to
Friday?
Monday. It's going to be great. I'm going to Texas A&M, Arkansas game on Saturday night, Cowboys Patriots
Ooh.
on Sunday,
There you go.
JFK Assassination Museum on Monday. Making a nice little weekend out of it. Heck yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's awesome, dude. It's awesome. You got to find out
I'm gonna s-
where the guy
I'm gonna
was
solve
that
the crime.
shot JFK.
how many people do you think walk in there and be like, "Pff, I'm gonna solve this? Everybody else is an
I can
idiot,
solve it.
right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Everybody. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Oh, I could do it.
Just
Yeah.
show me the
There's
window.
a
I'll
bunch of
figure
those
out if
guys,
he
for
could do
sure.
it.
No way I can make this shot.
It'll
No
be
way
good.
he's making
Yeah,
it.
let's hope
Yeah.
we can get out of there with a smile on our face and the Patriots win, and also not get accosted by Dallas fans.
Yeah, man.
Very good. All right, we'll see. All right, thank you guys for listening.
We'll see.
Please remember to like and subscribe. We appreciate the support, and we will be back next week.
All right, guys. See you.
Adios.